Hello everyone, my name is Mahan. Today I'm presenting the article Propagating Collective Hope in the Midst of Environmental Doom and Gloom by Ellen Kelsey. Let's start with an introductory activity. Take a look at this newspaper article headline. How do you feel about such news? Is there any glimpse of hope in it? What about a stream of pessimistic headlines linked to environmental crisis? Let's take a few seconds to read some of them. This leads us to our article for this week. In this article, the author explains how we are surrounded by a narrative dominated by pessimism and despair, so she delves into a critical inquiry to investigate how environmental educators can inspire hope in others when they themselves are immersed in negativity. She proposes alternative perspectives on hope, taking inspiration from palliative care, oncology, and nursing, where discussions about hope and hopelessness are openly examined. She recognizes the importance of social media in providing a platform for emotions to be shared and amplified, and a place where stories about positive climate changes can be celebrated. She starts the hashtag Ocean Optimism to start a collaborative movement inspiring a global outpouring of marine conservation success stories. The author introduces the concept of emotional contagion, explaining how the bombardment with bad news affect not only the way we feel, but also the feelings of those we interact with, and that this contagion happens even without direct contact or interaction between people. Research has also shown that online messages influence our experience of emotions, which may affect a variety of online behaviors, and that both hope and hopelessness can be caught from someone else. She also acknowledges the absence of literature discussing effective strategies for managing the emotions linked to environmental deterioration. In her article, she differentiates between two types of scholars: the optimists who see hope as a belief in the possibility of better future or as a desire for positive futures, and pessimists who believe that the harm is irreversible and that hoping for a positive future is spreading false hope. Other scholars consider environmental issues as super wicked and share common features. The urgency of environmental crisis creates a dilemma for environmental educators who fear that focusing on hope might lead to false expectations, and that it is more ethical to prepare individuals for life on a compromised planet, equipping them with strategies to anticipate challenges and approach future wisely. Kelsey believes in the importance of reshaping environmental narratives by inspiring hope without false promises. She explores insight from palliative care to effectively manage the fine line between cultivating optimism and upholding ethical principles when addressing environmental issues. She then highlights the varying definitions and conceptualizations of hope among scholars. For some, hope is not about envisioning a better future, but finding significance in the present moment. Others believes hope should be maintained regardless of future outcomes and that hope can be found even in hopeless situations. Finally, the concept of false hope is flawed, as hope is not something that can be given externally. It is deeply connected to one's personal sense of meaning. She notices that all the narratives of environmental doom and gloom, without a hopeful perspective, can lead to fear, disempowerment, and hopelessness in children. Educators often avoid addressing students' emotional responses to environmental issues due to inadequate training in supporting such feelings. In this section, I will present the author's compilation of research discoveries and interview perspectives concerning the spread of hope. Hope can be cultivated and taught. Integrating SEL into environmental education allows educators to create supportive environments that acknowledge and address students' emotional responses while promoting hope and engagement in addressing environmental challenges. Hope is closely linked to agency since it generates the required emotional and motivational drive for positive actions. Collective actions and human resilience are key sources of hope in the face of environmental challenges, and self-care and prioritizing one's well-being are important to effectively foster collective hope and address environmental challenges. Focusing only on doom and gloom narratives oversimplifies complex issues and undermines potential solutions. Sharing success stories inspire hope and action among scientists and the public at the same time. Collective hope has a transformative potential in motivating action and fostering positive social change. Finally, dominant environmental narrative should shift away from doom and gloom and focus more on stories of positive changes to reinforce hope and optimism. Now, before I move to the article critique, I have prepared 2 optional activities. Please feel free to take a look at them at your own convenience. I would love to hear your thoughts about our topic. Moving to the article critique, I would like to share first the positive. The article presented different perspectives on hope. It included different viewpoints concerning environmental pessimism versus optimism. The article effectively raised ethical concerns regarding the promotion of hope in the face of grave environmental challenges. Finally, the author managed to acknowledge the tension between fostering hope and being truthful about the severity of the issues at hand. As for the negative critique, environmental issues require group efforts and big changes in systems, unlike individual health problems. Balancing hope with the realism in environmental matters is not only dealing with emotions right away, but also helping people feel capable of taking part in solving problems. Even though the author mentioned several resources for educators, the article did not examine deeply the strategies or approaches that environmental educators could use to address environmental crises. Finally, there was a marginalization of the role of parents and guardians, knowing that their involvement in discussions about environmental issues can facilitate open communication and provide additional support for children. Since the article failed to provide educators with specific strategies to deal with the different emotions students might experience in environmental crisis, I decided to supplement the reading with an article titled Teaching the Climate Crisis, Existential Considerations by Catherine Van Kessel. This article urges educators to address the ethical imperative of teaching the climate crisis due to its critical implications for the future. It identifies a significant barrier to effectively teaching this topic, which is the existential threat. Drawing upon terror management theory, the article argues that discussions on climate catastrophe can evoke feelings of mortality salience and existential anxiety. The author explains that mortality salience arises from contemplating the consequences of climate catastrophe. Existential anxiety arises from conflicting worldviews, especially Western beliefs and disagreements between people with different perspectives. She stresses the importance of acknowledging and managing these emotional responses when teaching about the climate crisis. In her article, the author provides some pedagogical strategies that can be used inside and outside of the classroom to address these emotional responses. Providing conceptual tools to help students understand and contextualize the climate crisis, narrating cascading emotions and validating them, employing humor carefully to alleviate tension and anxiety surrounding the subject, refraining from overgeneralization, and priming the idea of tolerance to nurture acceptance of differences among individuals with varying worldviews. Overall, the article emphasizes the importance of recognizing and addressing the existential aspects of teaching the climate crisis to effectively engage students and navigate the emotional complexities associated with the topic. Finally, I would like to share with you an innovation that it is believed to stop the fights that result when communicating about climate emergency and effectively address it to start finding common ground. David Suzuki Foundation releases Canada's first climate conversation chatbot called Climate. Climate facilitates discussion about climate change. The goal is to find common ground and foster empathy between individuals with opposing perspectives on climate change. Users engage with Climate on Facebook Messenger, practicing conversations as either a concerned individual or a climate skeptic. Climate provides guided practice conversations with responses and insights on potential reactions. Climate seeks to contribute to finding shared solutions to the climate crisis. As I conclude my presentation, I would like to suggest the following prompts for discussion. Please select one for further exploration. I will be posting them on the discussion board along with the presentation deck and recording. Here are my references, and thank you so much for listening.